Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. We are going to be talking about some more college football. Going to be doing the top 25 again. Had a lot of comments on the last one, mainly saying I was super underrating Ohio State, which fair enough. I went back and watched a couple of the highlights. I haven't watched any of their games yet. I've only watched highlights. Um, and I do have to say they looked a little bit better than I was giving them credit for. Also got a comment about Alabama. I will be showing the comments on screen, but I will add them in a little bit. So you'll be able to see what the actual comments were. But there was also a pretty ardent Alabama defender there. And the big thing that we got wrong from last week was Kansas. I did not realize Kansas lost, so I've moved them up just on. I took OU and Oregon down a little bit. So Kansas should not have been in the top 10 last week, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's focus on what we got going this week. We will get that all sorted out. Georgia. Georgia looked like shit yesterday against Kentucky. Unless you think Kentucky's good, then I don't know. So here's what I'm thinking. These are the four teams I would consider at number one. Ole Miss, I wouldn't really consider it number one. Ohio State. Here's what I do want to say about watching Ohio State. They got playmakers all over the field, but their quarterback can get their playmakers the ball, which is the most important thing. Now they still haven't played anybody with a pulse, which is a problem because you're. I mean, you can have like warm up games all day, but once you play somebody that's actually good, it's a totally different ball game. So I think we'll go ahead. Yeah, I think the consensus right now is Texas number one. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to move Texas up to number one. They did beat Michigan. They've looked good in all their other games. We're going to put Ohio State at number two. What I saw out of Ohio State was really good offense. Really, really, really good offense. Jeremiah Smith kid's going to be pretty good. Emeka Egbuka is already probably my top receiver in college football right now. So they've also got some really good running backs. Travion Henderson is not even their best running back, I don't think, which is kind of worrying. Next up, can we drop Georgia behind Tennessee? I mean, honestly, that's what Georgia would want. I'm probably going to go ahead and lean Georgia here, though. Now, Tennessee had a better performance against NC State than Georgia did against Kentucky. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move Georgia down here. We're going to move Ole Miss right here. We're going to leave Utah right here. And sorry, there's a lot of rearranging right now. Yeah, we're still in the beginning of the season, so we still, even though we think we know a bunch about these teams, we still don't really know all that much about any of these teams. We're going to find out a lot more this weekend. I think this weekend's kind of the biggest. I'm pretty sure this is the week where we've got Utah versus Oklahoma State. I think we've also got USC versus Michigan. That'll be a good game for the Big Ten. And there's some other big games this weekend. But okay, are we gonna leave Ole Miss at number five? Honestly, after watching Ole Miss, I went back and watched some of their highlights as well. So I haven't actually seen an Ole Miss game. They're looking okay. The offense is looking solid. Defense is looking solid. Nothing like special. But they're outplaying everybody, and they haven't played anybody who's been a threat to them yet. Next up, we got Utah. Now, Utah maybe should come down because they lost their quarterback, and if Cam Rising isn't playing, then they're not going to be very good. They'd still probably beat most teams, but if Cam Rising's not playing, I'm taking Oklahoma State over Utah is my problem. So I guess here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll put Alabama right there. It doesn't really matter. The winner of this game is probably going to go ahead of Alabama. We'll go ahead and leave Utah here, but here's what I want to say. If Utah is without Cam Rising, Oklahoma State should be here instead. Okay, Kansas. Kansas is going all the way out of the top 25. I'm sorry, Kansas bros, but it is how it is. You're 1-2 now, and they aren't even two like good losses. Also, I was talking shit on the AP for voting for Illinois. Turns out Illinois is actually the team that beat Kansas last week. So, and I went and watched the highlights of that game. It looks like Illinois could be pretty solid. Their offense looks kind of like a train wreck, but their defense seems pretty good. Okay, so we can go ahead and move Missouri up. I think that's fine. We can go ahead and move Kansas State up. I think that's fine. I'm probably going to lean Miami over Louisville. And who else? Who else has been looking pretty good? Because we're not taking any of these guys out. Boise State, I really need to add that, like other receiving votes. Because Boise State, I'm liking Boise. Um, OU had another not pretty weekend. It did not look good for us. Oregon looked much better. Oregon looked way better. And honestly, okay, here's what I'm kind of thinking with Oregon. I took Oregon down. Oh, what was it? I took Oregon down from the top 10 last week because of the Boise State game. But actually, what I'm thinking is going on is maybe Boise is just a little better than we were giving them credit for. Um, Because I think Oregon's actually a pretty solid team. That Idaho game, they got off to a slow start, but against Boise, I think Boise played better than Oregon, to be honest, in that game. But Oregon won, which is the main thing. But I could see Boise sneaking up into the top 25. But we are going to go ahead and move Oregon probably up here. I think we could even, honestly, I'd probably take Oregon over most of these ACC teams. Okay, so let's go ahead and move Oregon right here behind Miami. Penn State still not looking fantastic. North Carolina. Once again, I did not watch the North Carolina game. They're just creeping up just because they're winning. North Carolina. They took on North Carolina Central and they won 45-10. Cool. Louisville. How'd Louisville do? Versus Louisville football schedule. Oh, they played Georgia Tech this week. Okay, that'll give us some ideas. They took on Jacksonville State, so they played Austin P and Jacksonville State or Jack State. Either way, it doesn't really do anything for me. So they were on bye this weekend. What about BYU? Did BYU win? BYU beat Wyoming, 34-14. That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. Penn State. How'd Penn State do? Beat Bowling Green, then they were off this last weekend. Okay. So Louisville and Penn State were both off. Ohio State moves up, even though they did nothing. But Georgia looked like ass. So also, I'm now pretty firmly convinced that Ohio State would beat Ole Miss. After watching Ohio State, I'm pretty sure they would beat Ole Miss. I still think them versus Tennessee is a pretty good game. Okay, Vanderbilt. Wait, did Vanderbilt secure another win? You never hear anybody talk about Vanderbilt. I'm gonna guess they lost. Oh my gosh, they play Missouri. Vanderbilt's 3-0. They beat they oh no, they're not. No, they're not. They lost to Georgia State. Oh my god. Sorry, Louisville. It was nice you being here. But thanks for playing. Arizona lost to Kansas State. Correct. Yep. So we can move Nebraska up. I think we can move Iowa State up. Now the real question is, who do we fill out the rest of this with? And do we take Arizona? I think we can take Arizona out of the top 25. Not adding LSU, although LSU would probably be above Arizona for me. Don't have to worry about South Carolina because they're behind LSU. I don't know if you guys caught that, but LSU did end up beating USC, USC East, whatever you want to call them. Okay, Boston College. I think they who did they lose to? They lost to Missouri. And that was a good win for Missouri. I know I didn't move Missouri up at all, but that's because I think Missouri's still going to have a pretty bad time with some of these other top 10 teams. I don't think they beat Alabama. I don't really think they beat Ole Miss. I definitely don't think they beat Tennessee or Georgia. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see once Missouri gets more chances to play. Colorado, we don't have to worry about them. Any more SEC teams? Should we rank Kentucky just because they almost beat Georgia? No, that's not how rankings work. Iowa, we don't have to worry about. Tulane's lost to two pretty good top 25 teams. It doesn't really help your case, but they have lost two good 25 teams. Let me check out Illinois. Illinois football. They took on Central Michigan. They're 3-0. They've beaten Kansas. So you know what? I think we can go ahead and put the Illini up here in the top 25. They're 3-0. Kansas State or Oregon State got destroyed by Oregon yesterday. A&M will not be in my top 25. Who are some more possibilities down here? USF, nope. NIU, also no. Maybe let's go check the NIU football schedule. NIU football. Oh, also, if you watch Notre Dame, Notre Dame beat somebody like 66-10. Super sick, right? They should be in the top 25. No, definitely not. Okay, so Northern Illinois had a week off. That's good for them. They need that. Honestly, Boise, I kind of want to put Boise up here in the top 25. Right now, like if I'm looking at it, I think Boise would beat Boston College. I think they would probably beat LSU, Arizona, Colorado, Kansas. Yeah. Notre Dame. Nope, don't need to worry about Notre Dame. Cal, where's Cal? They're 3-0. We can put Cal up here. I watched their game last night. Now, San Diego State looked terrible. Cal also looked kind of terrible. Um, but I think they could be top 25. Um, NC State, Syracuse, Duke. I haven't heard about Syracuse doing anything in particular. Alrighty, none of these teams are really doing anything for me. SMU, Pitt, Baylor, Houston. Houston played us good. We know we can keep Florida State down here. They're 0-3. Actually, we can move Florida State all the way down here. The worst team in FBS football right now. Okay, so here's what I think we're gonna do. Let's go Boise up here. Let's move Illinois right here. USC was at 22 last week, so they can be at 21 this week. And we will put them ahead of Cal. Also, I should probably put them in front of Illinois, but I can't put any of these other teams in front of them. So really, USC should probably be right here at number 20. Actually, they should probably be higher, but we're going to ignore that. Also, I think Nebraska's looking solid. They would probably beat BYU. I think we can go ahead and slide Nebraska up to 16, move BYU down. Iowa State. How did Iowa State do this weekend? Iowa State football. Okay, they took down Iowa 2 weeks ago, and then they had a week off. Okay. Well, I think we can go ahead and leave Iowa State in there. So these are kind of the teams that I'm looking at. Although Kentucky's not actually being looked at, they just played Georgia good. Kind of like the first teams out. I'm thinking, but there's still a lot that could change. Washington lost. I don't know how Washington State's looking. I think this is solid. I think this will do. Because I really like Boise. I didn't realize it. I was giving Oregon a lot of crap for the Boise State game and the Idaho game, really. But to be honest, the more I've thought about them, the more I think Boise State's just a really good football team, and their running back's legit. Boise State's running back is real good. So I think there's a bunch of teams that would lose to Boise. So this is kind of where my head's at. I don't know about Kansas State. If you're asking me the who's probably the most likely to fall out of here anytime soon, Louisville, North Carolina, Kansas State. I don't know. I think Utah might lose to Oklahoma State this week. Probably taking USC over Michigan. I'm pretty sure that game's happening this weekend. But Cal looks solid. They're 3-0. Same for Illinois. We'll have to see if they can actually put it together. We'll see if Miami can hold up too. And Penn State's probably just going to keep winning games. Also, my thoughts on OU. Maybe I was calling for Seth Luttrell's head a little too early. If you watched last week, I said burn the jerseys, fire Seth Luttrell, give Mike Hawk a chance. But actually, what I'm thinking now is our O line is just completely fucked. So it's hard to blame Seth Luttrell or Jackson Arnold when we're doing bad when our O line is literally just letting defenders run into the backfield. Can't get anything going on offense like running wise. Pretty much our only offense has been Jackson Arnold just scrambling. So I guess that's just going to have to happen a lot more. But that's not a very good strategy for beating top 25 teams. It's fine when you're playing worse competition, but we're playing Tennessee this week, and let me tell you, zero confidence, zero confidence. I fucking Josh Heupel's going to come in and murder us. So let's take one last look. I got Texas number 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Georgia 4, Ole Miss 5, Alabama 6, Utah 7, uh, Oklahoma State 8, Missouri 9, Kansas State 10, Miami 11, Oregon 12, Louisville 13, North Carolina 14, Penn State 15, Nebraska 16, BYU 17, OU 18, Iowa State 19, Illinois 9, wait, no. Iowa State 19, Illinois 20, USC 21, Cal 22, uh, Clemson 23, Michigan 24, and Boise State 25. And by the way, if you think I've got USC rated too low, you're probably right. But I'm an OU fan, and fuck those guys. So yeah, that's my professional opinion on that. Okay, now let's go take a look at the AP poll. Alrighty, Texas at number 1. Okay, so Georgia drops 1 spot for that terrible performance against Kentucky. Nice. Oh, hey, check this out. They actually have the right games this week. That's cool. Okay, Ohio State 2-0, moved nowhere. Alabama 3-0, stayed at number 4 after a pretty dominant win against Wisconsin. Although I don't think anybody thinks Wisconsin's good. Ole Miss number 5, Tennessee number 6. I feel like Tennessee's underrated. I feel like Tennessee's gonna have a really good season. Missouri number 7. I mean, that's okay. Boston College played a good game with them. I honestly think Boston College is a pretty solid school this year. And I'm not sure how Miami will do against Boston College. I could see Boston College winning that game. But either way, they got Miami here at 8, Oregon number 9, Penn State 10, USC at 11. I mean, that's fine. USC is going to keep doing good. Um, Utah. USC is also probably going to beat Michigan this week. Utah at number 12. Kansas State at 13. Oklahoma State at 14. This will be a good matchup between Oklahoma State and Utah. OU's playing Tennessee this week, so we're gonna find out if we can hang. I'm a little worried about the answer. We are playing in Norman though, so maybe that'll help. Next up, we got LSU and Notre Dame and Michigan. This is just the worst fucking section of the top 25. Just fucking pure garbage. If you think LSU is good, you are insane. If you think LSU is good, you do not watch football right. They're fucking terrible. And it's not their athletes. Their athletes are fine, but Brian Kelly is like one of the worst head coaches I've ever seen in my life. Notre Dame is terrible. They are terrible. They've got a terrible schedule. They're never going to get to prove they're good unless they beat USC. But even then, USC is not actually good. They're just like they're Lincoln Riley good, which means they'll beat people with less talent because their offense is good. But if they play anybody with equal talent, they'll probably have a bad time. Okay, Louisville at number 19. So I guess we've got Louisville overrated, maybe in my poll. Iowa State at 20. How can you put Nebraska a 3-0 team? There's no way you can tell me you think Nebraska wouldn't kick the shit out of Notre Dame and LSU, right? Like, do people actually think LSU would win that game? There's no way Notre Dame would beat Nebraska. And not a chance. I think Clemson could maybe beat Nebraska, but I think Nebraska should be ranked over Clemson. I mean, that's just me, though. Northern Illinois moves up 2 spots for doing nothing. You guys can unrank Northern Illinois. There's no reason to keep them up here. Illinois 3-0, solid, solid. And Texas A&M 25. Dude, fucking take these people's votes away. These people do not deserve votes. And I know there were people making fun of me for ranking Kansas. You know what the difference is between me ranking Kansas and the AP poll ranking Texas A&M is? One, I just didn't see their loss. You know, if I would have saw their loss, Kansas wouldn't have been in my top 10. They would have been out of the top 25. The difference is here, they know Texas A&M has lost, but they're fucking on that SEC. The SEC is so good. Oh my God, the SEC is the best conference of all time. So every team in the top 25 needs to be an SEC team. Well, let me tell you, Texas A&M is a fucking poverty program, and they are going to do terrible this year. I can't wait. I'm not a Texas fan, but I cannot wait to watch Texas kick the shit out of these motherfuckers on Thanksgiving. And I saw somebody do a power rankings. I was watching YouTube last night. It's the SEC. There's like an SEC power rankings. This dude goes live on YouTube. Um, and he had Texas A&M ranked above Oklahoma. And listen, dog, I don't know enough about the rest of the SEC. I don't want to make any determinations. But if you think Texas A&M is better than Oklahoma, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. This team is pure garbage. Pure garbage. Now, we're pretty much doing the same thing. Like, we've got a good defense, and our offense is pretty much non-existent. So it's pretty much the same school. The difference is we've got winning in our DNA, and they've got 8-4 in their DNA. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So nothing glaringly bad other than LSU and Notre Dame to me. Honestly, I think the AP poll did okay. Maybe taking Georgia down a spot is an overreaction. I'm not sure. But nothing to Northern Illinois. I mean, this is a head scratcher. They should not be in the top 25. Notre Dame should be ranked ahead of Northern Illinois. Michigan is about they lifted them up because they're about to come right back down after this USC game. There's no chance that Michigan beats USC. Also, just a quick little heads up. Um, that's pretty much okay. That's my thoughts on the eight people. Nothing too crazy. The way this ranking works, if this team plays this team, I expect this team to win. I expect the higher team to beat the lower team. So Texas, I expect them to beat Georgia when they play. That's how these rankings work. Ole Miss, I expect them to beat Alabama when they play. Now, this is a very important note here for Utah versus Oklahoma State. If Utah has Cam Rising, I expect him to beat Oklahoma State. If Oklahoma State gets to play Utah without Cam Rising, I expect Oklahoma State to win. So I'm ranking them like they do have Cam Rising. I'm not sure about his injury status, so um, we'll see. But if they have Cam Rising available, I expect them to win. So that also means I expect Tennessee to probably beat the shit out of Oklahoma this week. I'm an Oklahoma fan, so but I've got Tennessee rated higher. I think Tennessee's a really good team. We haven't really seen Tennessee play anybody, so maybe it's a lot closer than we think it is. We'll find out this weekend. And USC, I think they'll beat Michigan. Obviously, I've got them rated higher. I like the matchup of styles. So that's how these rankings work. It's just in my head, who do I think would win? There's no actual, uh, there's no real criteria here. It's just whatever I think is right. So continue to send me what you guys think is wrong. I got a bunch of comments last week about what I did not get right. Let me Yeah, I'll throw them up on screen so you guys can see what everybody thought about what I thought. They were pretty much like, "Ah, your rankings suck," which fair enough. I'm just some dude in my room making rankings. I am not some football expert. I am just an Oklahoma Sooners fan who thought it would be fun to make college football top 25s. I feel like I'm being pretty fair though. I feel like I'm trying to give everybody a chance. I don't have time to watch all the games. I try to watch all like the most important, most pivotal games. If games are close during the day, I'll switch over to those and give it a watch. I do watch OU. I watch every OU game. So like I missed Texas this week playing Texas State, but there was the Colorado State game going on, and there was also Georgia versus Kentucky, and I had all my eyes hoping Georgia would lose. But it didn't happen. Also, RIP Colorado State. But if you're gonna talk shit on Colorado, you better come to play. Apparently, unless you're Nebraska, in which case, please don't come to play if you're playing Colorado. Yeah, but that's gonna do it for my top 25 this weekend. I hope you guys have less problems with it than last week. But you know what? Even if you do, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm gonna continue doing my thing. I don't care if you guys think they're the worst rankings of all time. They're my rankings. So, thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. If not, let me know down in the comments what I got wrong. And maybe you will change my mind. Whoever left all those Ohio State comments, they did get to me. I went back and watched Ohio State games. And yeah, I was discounting Ohio State. Even though if you go watch all of last week's video, I said that before they left any comments. But, we'll ignore that. Okay. Thank you guys all for watching. I've got to go get ready to do some stuff. So, yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this weekend in college football. And next week should be the first real good week of college football. We got a bunch of good games next week. This will be way more interesting 1 week from now. But thank you guys all for watching, and we will catch you later. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic college football season. Unless you're a Colorado or USC fan, in which case I hope it's terrible.